G'day, it's Jamie, and welcome to Where's My Yowie. Today, I'm reading an old newspaper report about a Yowie sighting in the mountain ranges at the back of Western Port, Victoria, in 1847. So we'll get into it. This was published in the Moreton Bay Courier on Saturday, the 28th of August, 1847, titled The Wild Man of the Australian Woods. A creature described by the natives as something very similar to an orangutan is supposed by many colonists to exist in the mountain ranges at the back of Western Port, but their ideas of it are mixed up with such a superstitious dread as to induce many to consider it only in the light of an imaginary being, created by their own fears or by interested parties amongst themselves. But the fact of some strange and peculiar tracks having been noticed in the ranges, recorded in the Port Phillip papers at the time they were discovered, and many other circumstances seem to indicate that there is some animal resident there which has not yet been seen by a white man. And from the position of this tract of country, being quite out of any road pursued by European travellers, it is very possible such a thing may exist. An account of this animal was given to me by Warra Galet Along, a native of the Warong tribe, in the following words. He is as big as a man and shaped like him in every respect, and is covered with stiff bristly hair, excepting about the face, which is like an old man's, full of wrinkles. He has long toes and fingers, and piles up stones to protect him from the wind or rain, and usually walks about with a stick, and climbs trees with great facility. The whole of his body is hard and sinewy, like wood to the touch. Wurrunggeri also told me many years since, some of these creatures attacked a camp of natives in the mountains and carried away some women and children, since which period they have had great dread of moving about there after sunset. The only person now alive who killed one, he informed me, was Carbora, a great doctor, who had succeeded in striking one in the eye with his tomahawk. On no other part of his body was he able to make the least impression. All this might be very true when it is considered that, in the time before the white people came, the Gulbalangaruk, or stone tomahawk, was not by any means a sharp weapon. The body of the South American sloth is to the touch as hard as wood, and I question much if a tomahawk such as I have seen used makes any impression on its thick skin. On one occasion when pheasant shooting, about 3 days' journey into the mountains, in company with two natives and a white man, we constructed a bark hut and had to retire to repose, when, shortly afterwards, I was startled by a most peculiar cry, very different from any other noises which I heard from the wild animals inhabiting these ranges. I should have previously mentioned that the Aborigines, after the fatigues of the day, had very soon fallen asleep, but on the noise rousing them, they both started up and seized their guns with the utmost horror depicted on their countenances. Not a word escaped them, and the mysterious sound still echoed amongst the hills. On my asking one, in rather a loud voice, what he was frightened at, he desired me not to speak loud, that the shouts which had aroused them proceeded from Bundi Ilkano, or devil, which is the name they have given this thing. The noise shortly died away in the distance, and I once more endeavoured to sleep. Neither of my natives would lie down for the night, and as soon as day dawned, they insisted on leaving the scene of this strange occurrence and going to some distant part. The end. That's a really interesting story, that. I really like that one. I like the description of him. They're saying he's this big man, shaped like, he's big as a man, shaped like him in every respect, covered in stiff, bristly hair except the face, which is, the face is like an old man's and full of wrinkles. He's got long toes and fingers. He piles up stones to protect him from the wind or the rain. Usually walks around with a stick. Climbs trees really easy. And this one's the one that gets me. They're saying his whole body is hard and sinewy, like a wood to touch, which is really interesting. And then they mentioned that many years since, some of these creatures attacked a camp of natives in the mountains and carried some women and children away. So there must have been a couple of them, as I say, these creatures, not that creature, which is really interesting. And then I liked at the end where they're like camping out in the hut for the night, and they've heard the noise, and like the Aboriginals are like, no, don't make a sound, we're not going out. And then the minute morning came, we're out of here, which I don't blame them, I would have been too. And it was really interesting that they called it Bundy Ilkano, or Devil, which is an interesting name for it. I haven't heard that before. Okay, that's it from me. I'll get back to this all next time. Bye.